of it like leaping off the bridge or whatever. It's really weird if that's a real thing. Like they have a festival for it, I think, and they have a statue. It's really embedded in like West Virginia's culture now, despite being apparently a harbinger of destruction. Apparently spotted jumping off of this bridge before it collapsed, but I can't really find much on that picture anymore in stories. Like I haven't looked into it since I was a kid, so I could even be remembering that detail wrong, but a Virginia bridge did collapse supposedly after he was spotted. I don't know if it's the same bridge from the photo though. It's a really interesting cryptid. I think it's cool. And in fact, I have actually wanted to use it in D&D. Like, I know you're gonna see a lot of those references bleed out more. I'm a fucking dork. But is the Mothman real? Yeah, I can confirm he's real. He's an asshole and he's elusive like many other fathers, and his name's Roger. Moving on, we got the Thunderbird. And no, it's not the car that your daddy derailed your mommy in. It's a fucking big bird. Look at that giant. The size of prehistoric birds in America specifically. And to start this topic off, I think it would be best if you got some perspective. Ostriches are the largest living bird on the planet right now. They can weigh nearly 400 pounds and stand at a terrifying height of 7 feet tall. They also run about 45 miles an hour, which is like 72 kilometers an hour, I think. Prehistoric birds like the pterodactyl were actually about 3 foot. So, I mean, sorry to ruin that dream too. But yeah, they were pretty damn small despite being depicted really big in Hollywood. They lied to us about a lot of things. Parts of my childhood were crushed in this video. I wasn't exactly a dinosaur kid. I was definitely a dragons kid, though. Other birds like the Andean condor of South America are just fucking huge, though. It has a maximum wingspan of 3.3 meters. That's 10 inches. It can weigh about 40 pounds. And that means from wing to wing, it's as long as a car. Yeah. That's a big bird. That's a really fucking big bird. From tail to beak, it's like 3 inches shorter than the California condor, though. And I believe the only surviving California condors are actually in captivity. Like, they never released them back in the wild for some reason. That's interesting, too. But giant birds are involved in nearly, like, every culture's folklore, especially Native American folklore. So, the legend of the thunderbird is basically a spirit of thunder in the sky, and usually can take the form of a giant flying bird. I guess that's not a surprise to anybody here, but it's actually a pretty interesting cryptid to think about because birds in America are generally huge outside of condors too. Have you ever seen a hawk? Okay, that sounds stupid, but like up close because they're like everywhere here and they're massive, and I could see where some people could mistake them for being like bigger than what they are, I guess. I don't know how far I want to stretch this proof going off my memory, like. But you could easily mistake the size of something far away. But it's still a huge bird. I mean, it's a pretty scary animal. I know one Native American tribe described the thunderbird as a bird as long as 2 war canoes. That term sounds weird to be actually used. Probably just sad, but it from like wing to wingtip. So, and that would be about how big is that? Okay, that's about 20 feet. And it would let out a thunderous boom when it would flap its wings. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a boss fight type cryptid. So a weird, almost Mandela effect is actually tied to it too. And you may already know this already, but it's about a photograph. And this is like the coolest thing because it's one of the oldest stories relating to the beast. And it says around 1890, Arizona cowboys claimed to have shot and killed an enormous bird with a head similar to an alligator, nailing it to the side of a barn and photographing it. I remember seeing this photo and saying, well, a lot of people, nobody can fucking find it. It's gone. It's recreated, but the original photo is gone. And whether that was fake or not is whatever, but no one can find it anymore. It's been brought up on X on fan quite a few times. I remember back in my days working, it was brought up a lot. Another encounter also taking place in the U.S. was in 1977 in Lawndale, Illinois. A 10-year-old 7-year-old boy named Martin Lowe was playing outside on the 25th of July, 1977, when two huge birds began to attack him, and one actually picked him up and supposedly carried him upwards of 30 feet until his mom scared him off. I mean... Oh, the illustration for this is kind of great. I mean, I see huge hawks here, and I mean, the original reference to the cryptid ostrich refers to the story with the missing photograph. The story fascinates me, and like, I think I remember seeing it too. It's one of those things that kind of just adds to the mythos of it and makes it just more interesting. And it's like looking at a cryptid story, and on the other hand, it's like a Mandela effect. People remember seeing this photo that no longer seems to exist. I don't know. I can't say for sure, really give my opinion on giant birds living in the US, because I feel like America is just kind of like gun happy on that kind of thing. Like, if we saw like 20-foot birds, someone would shoot the shit. I'm sorry, it would happen, and it would be sad. But that's kind of what they do here. We're going to talk about the grays, and no, I'm not talking about my milky, exhausted-looking ass. I am talking about a lemurs, man. Aliens are a huge part of pop culture. And yeah, I am looking at a script. Shut up. Aliens are a huge pop culture phenomena and have been pretty much since the Roswell incident, where a unidentified flying object allegedly landed in the New Mexico desert. Crash landed, flying saucer. And on the 8th of July, 1947, the U.S. Army issued a press release stating that they recovered a, quote, flying disc from the desert, then quickly redacted it, changed it to... This is pretty weird, sketchy. Ooh, we got some tea. But if you really think about it, the U.S. government has a way of doing that with fucking everything, and now they acknowledge UFOs, but say they can't if they're alien or not. And that's actually pretty much the on it. Grays, but we'll talk about that more later. The spark of Alamal phenomena actually started on an old radio show broadcast on October 30th of 1938. The United States experienced mass hysteria, most pronounced on the East Coast in New York and New Jersey, in response to a radio broadcast put on by none other than Orson Welles called War of the Worlds. Ah, yeah, I remember actually watching the History Channel thing about this all a time ago, too. It was pretty funny. But either way, sightings of aliens in various forms have increased since the peaking just when cameras reach, like, hero-line quality, it seems. UFOs are a thing that are now officially acknowledged by the U.S. government, but it doesn't mean that aliens are in the identified objects. It's been either way just experiencing that, because I have seen a UFO personally. On Halloween of 2011, how old was I? I'd have just turned 17 and around with my actual friend, like, costume, because, you know, more teenager shit and mistakes in life. But it doesn't matter. I saw a weird-ass pattern of triangular lights in the sky, and I was like, stars, cool, but they're moving slowly. And I stared for a minute and tried to record it. Didn't work. My balls sucked. And it was like orangish lights. It was a perfect triangle, and then it just suddenly just did full speed like animation. Like, that's the best way I can describe it, and it fucking pinged off into the night. I just rationalized it as like military activity because it's just, I don't know. I don't believe necessarily in little gray people coming down and leaving messages in my corn. It just doesn't seem very logical for something that could travel through space, because people don't really grasp what space is unless they have any knowledge of astrophysics. If these things can supposedly travel from planet to planet with ease, and it takes us like 5 years to get a fucking shuttle thing to the moon. Not the moon, I'm sorry, Mars. And it takes a damn near a year, I think it is, to get something to the moon. Are you serious? You think they're just like, oh, let's leave graffiti in their corn, guys? Like, that's like the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Or like, oh, you know, let's just grab random people from like Idaho and Nebraska and, you know, bumfuck Egypt and America and probe their asses. That seems like a good idea. No, on retrospect and literal respect to people who supposedly experienced of abduction, to be fair, in the defense here, what do we do as humans? We capture some weird creature from the ocean, and it's not like we go, oh wow, fascinating, let's take a picture. We're like, let's fucking skewer it and see what it does. Let's put this in its ass. Like, let's give it a bunch of Xanax and electrocute it. Like scientists are fucked. Like, I think they found the largest, or no, not the oldest living organism on the planet, and then they killed it. Like, what the fuck? That's a story in itself. There's also this alleged autopsy footage of the Roswell incident, supposedly, but it's actually from the 1990s, shot in black and white, and involved traditional effects, including sheep organ. It was done for a little documentary. Who made this? Yeah, this alleged autopsy footage from Roswell is actually from a 1990s mockumentary shot in black and white that was literally meant to be like a debunking of it. Even though it was made for it, it was one of those corny ass things. And granted, coming out now and nobody wants like obscure ass video, taken out of context, it's pretty spooky and convincing looking. It's pretty cool, but nope, fake as hell. Sorry. I mean, I just don't believe that. I believe that there's some sort of alien like creatures out there probably. Maybe they're more advanced than us. Maybe they're just like us. Maybe they're not. I don't know, but I don't think that if they could visit our planet, that's what they would do. If they were so superior to us and they really had been interested in studying us, they would just like mass fucking abduct us and do whatever they wanted. But that's obviously not happening, is it? No, it's the corn. Corn is the culprit. Corn is who they are looking for. They're trying to leave messages in our corn because they want Jonathan Davis. So you know what we need to do. Write a letter to Jonathan Davis, actually asking him to turn himself into the I swear to you, I'm not going to show after celebrities that have crossed me. Anyway, but many people attribute like possible construction of pyramids and other like ancient structures to aliens, like Stonehenge, even though that these things have actually been theorized and pretty much proven to be false. They are humans were normally able to construct the pyramids with certain pulleys and devices. It's extremely difficult and time-consuming, but it's very possible. I had fun with this though. This is the end of tier 1. We need more icebergs, I agree. And this whole video is going to get weirder and weirder as we take you down to tier 2.
To kick off tier 2, we start with the Leviathan. The Leviathan is a very interesting one, simply because of how popular it is, whether that be from biblical scriptures, historical documents, games, TV shows, movies. It's basically appeared somewhere, somehow, at some point. And to be honest with you, the name Leviathan is just pretty gnarly, if you ask me. It just has a lot of behind it. In terms of appearance, the Leviathan takes many forms depending upon the type of media that you're consuming. For some, it's a multi-headed serpent, while for others, it's just a single-headed serpent. And then for others, it has these dark black eyes, and for others, it has these bright red, like neon eyes. At the end of the day, though, it's trying to kill you, so I'm not necessarily worried about whether its eyes are red or black. In the Hebrew Bible, Leviathan is referenced over 6 times in its entirety, and you even get a detailed description in Job, a segment of the Hebrew Bible. His sneezing splash full of light, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning torches, and sparks of fire come forth. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot, and burning rushes. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out his mouth. He continues to go on explaining in further detail about the Leviathan. In all honesty, I felt like I've been reading for a good bit of time anyway, so I want to save you the trouble. For Judaism, though, the Leviathan was regarded as a dragon that lived over the deep. This refers to the great deep, or the cosmic ocean. If you're unfamiliar with this, I'll try to explain it in the most simple way possible. The great deep, or a cosmic ocean, is basically a representation of the world that is surrounded by water. An example of